Mandy's method for the fundraising workshop. So let's, I think, time is fast paced. So let's just move straight forward. So I'd like to introduce our two speakers for. One of them was already introduced. So I don't know. Oh no. I mean, Anne really inspires me. I went to her BP, and the ideas that she had and the way she was moving the technology and building up. I mean, even working in, I remember that room just guys always arguing. It's just nice to be around such a person who's focused and is moving forward. And it's been something innovative in technology in her space. NandiMobile too has a lot of. No, I can't just say success. You guys have done so much. Yeah. No, I will. No, she's done a lot. So, please let's welcome Anne. So Audrey, I can yeah, and she works with furniture, and they're doing something kind of unique in your field as well, and in the country, because we are used to this. But she's bringing something nice into the domain or the industry, and I think it's not just furniture, it's about decor, because I saw some of, you have other artifacts as well. Yeah, so you're going to speak more about what you've done, and thank you. So please help me welcome Audrey. So start off, I know I introduced you in the wrong but we'll start off with you, Audrey. I'll help you out, to be sure.
Thank you everybody for coming, and it's nice to Philip, the other Philip, so nice to meet everybody as well. I'm here to share with you my dream, my passion, and how I've transformed that into a business. I just want to ask a question. Who wanted to be a pilot? You can show by hands. Anybody wanted to be a pilot when you were like 6? How about a surgeon? Anybody? Oh, there's a surgeon. Okay. How about a renowned artist? Anybody? Okay, that's weird, but we'll take it. A detective with maybe Ghana Police or perhaps LAPD. Okay.
That's ambitious.
That's good. I like it. So I describe myself as a big man, ready to be even more, but I can't really tell you. I'm going to tell you briefly about Tekura, and then I'll go on to what I have to share with you. From the slide, the picture in the center is my mother. In 2000, she quit her job and started this business. Now, she worked with just 2 artisans, and this was behind her house, under a tree. One would carve the wood, and the other would paint it. And she was making typical handicrafts, which is masks and figurines, what you see at Art Center in Oxford Street, a lot of that. And then she was exporting this to US and to parts of Europe. Now, the picture on the right is the raw material. She was using reclaimed wood from forest plantations in the eastern region of Ghana to make this. Now, over the years, we've grown to become a brand for handcrafted furniture and decor. And the picture on the right bottom shows you some of the beautiful pieces that we make. Everything is made right here in Ghana by Ghanaians. So this is 100% Ghanaian business. In 2008, I think I was in my 3rd year on campus, University of Ghana, and I dropped a couple of courses. I had so much time available. I didn't know what to do, so I was like, let me find some internship somewhere and kill time. How we describe it here in Ghana. So I spoke to a friend, tried out with a couple of banks, and it was unsuccessful. Then it hit me, your mom actually has a business, so why are you running around trying to find somewhere to work? You can just go and help out. So I actually decided, I spoke to her about it, and then I started. So I was doing any work because I didn't know what it was about. I had seen what she was doing, but I wasn't really involved. So I would go to the office, clean it up, I would run errands, file documents, type out letters, just to have some experience that I was working while I was in school. Now, when I got there, I realized it wasn't what I thought it was. It was interesting. But before all of this, I'm an artist. I'm sure I hope and believe that I look like an artist. I draw, I paint, I get crazy and I do stuff, But I never really thought of it as anything more than just painting or drawing. When I got there, I realized there was a lot of art. They were painting wood, they were carving shapes, motifs that were very interesting. And it appealed to me, there was a connection. So I started thinking, I started having big ideas, as you can see the dollar sign right there. I was thinking big. What can I do here? What can I bring on board, bring in? And I remembered, oh, I'm an artist. So in 2009, one of the tasks that was given me was to manage a gallery, which is actually not far from here. It's near no market, just so I was tasked to manage that. And I put out a notebook for clients to just give their feedback. And what I noticed was, oh, I love your products, it's nice, but can you do this for me this week? So I realized the average Ghanaian and the experts as well were kind of tired of the roadside furniture. They wanted a bed, they wanted a dining set, they wanted cabinets for their homes and their offices, wherever you put it. So it struck me, I've got access to artisans, carpenters, wood painters, carvers, and I'm an artist. And interacting with the clients, I could get what they were talking about. It made sense to me what they wanted. And it's kind of like going to the seamstress to get a dress. You give her the specifications and you insist, I want it cut this way, So I got what they meant. I understood them. I understood what they were talking about. So next slide. I have this idea. Why not transform this thing that I love to do? I mean, when I'm painting, I feel I'm in heaven. That's how I feel. Why not transform that into a business? So I thought about it. I spoke to my twin sister about it. I brought it up to my mom, and she wasn't too keen on it because she was used to what she was doing, which is fine. And I knew I had to sell the idea to her. So I did a little study. I used the feedback from the clients, and then I ran it by people I met around. What do you think if, I did furniture that shows who we are as Africans. It's not just the diamonds that you buy from the roadside or from Orca Decor, but it's made to suit your tastes, how you want things done. And I was getting a lot of good feedback. People were interested, so I found my market. Then the next thing I had to do was move. I had to take a step. So I got my drawing materials, I got my paint brushes, my pencil, my sketchbook. I did a bit of research to find out trends and what works here locally in Ghana. So I'll visit carpentry workshops, interact with them, get to know what they're doing, what the people want, and what works, what doesn't work. Pass by these decor shops as well and get to know what's going on, even understand how they price their products, all of that. So I did that, and I started with a few samples. I remember my first dining set, I was so excited. I was like, oh, I did it, but it wasn't perfect, but it was good enough. And what I wanted to do was, so like one step. I showed a couple of clients, and one of them was okay with it. So she gave me an order. She gave me a huge order. At the time, I thought I was going crazy. How am I going to figure this out? But I did it. She gave me the chance. I did it, and that was the beginning of me and furniture. And it's been a beautiful journey. I'm not done yet, but it's growing. And now I don't really stress about, ooh, I got my first order. What am I doing? I don't do that anymore. I figured my way. One thing I did is I did a lot of on-the-job learning. I'm working with the carpenters, and I'm learning what they're doing. So if they say they're going to cut the wood in a mitre, I'm like, I ask, what's that? What does that mean? Because I need to figure out how do we support a table to make it steady. I learned all of these things whilst doing the job. So I made a couple of mistakes, losses, but it comes with the terrain. That's how entrepreneurs survive. And now I'm happy because custom-made furniture has become a part of Tekura. It contributes to our annual revenues. It contributes more than 50% of what we make locally. So it's become very relevant in our business. And it provides employment for artisans. I recently took in one more carpenter. So if it goes well, I take in more carpenters, artisans. I create employment. It makes me feel good. And yes, I mentioned the contribution to the earnings of Tekura. And the last bit is work and happiness. Like AMuzu says it. What better thing to do? A job that makes you happy. Sitting here and I'm excited. I could go on and on, but that's it. So thank you very much. I just wanted to share this with everyone.
So thanks. I guess my turn. Yeah, so then we'll have questions directly to you. Please can everyone hear me? I should start. I think I would rather start. The two of you careful. So my name is I'll start with and I'm the CEO of NandiMobile. I told me the mistake. I've been CEO all along, but I was underground CEO. Yeah, so I am a developer. So, and I don't do interface development. I actually hate it. I hate HTML and CSS. I prefer the back-end development. Yeah, so that's what I do. And how did I start? I know you didn't know. Me, when I was young, I didn't know what I wanted to become actually. I was that unserious. And I think I started liking computers after my BEC. There was nothing to do. So I used to follow my mother to her office. And at that time, she was in and so I was kind of learning and teaching her. Okay, because she didn't have the time. She was a nurse. She had to do her nursing, but she also had to learn this because it was required for I think some projects she was doing. So I kind of learned it and kind of taught her. And I got very interested in the PowerPoint, for example, helped me create things, pictures, with birthday cards, and I was very happy. At that time, that was what made me happy. And so when I got to SS, I did science, and I was very interested in maths. So that actually tied into, okay, what I wanted to do, my lab for computers. I was like, okay, this sounds very interesting. If I'm very good in maths, I'm going to do engineering. And I think computers to be the best. So I decided to do computer engineering in the university. So yeah, as usual, as Ghanaians always, you just go through the school sum, you go and finish some. So I went and I finished some, but whilst I was in school, what really clicked me was I'm someone who doesn't like chew and pour. So I didn't like my university education actually. I hated it. But when it came to the assignments, write this code and submit it, that one made me more happy. And so there was this thought right running through my head that I wanted to start my own business. But don't worry, I didn't have any plan. I didn't have any plan. Yeah, so I finished school as usual, and fortunately, I entered into a software training and entrepreneurship training school, and met two other great guys. And then together we decided to form a company called NandiMobile. Now, the original idea was to make customer service in a time Ghana because we thought that it was one of the best. And the best way we thought we would do it was using technology. So we came up with this idea, and to validate it, we talked to a number of people in towns, just to get the idea. We did do customer support via SMS because we thought that when you call, being put on hold is very annoying. Not all the troubles to it, and it's so annoying. And then at that time, there weren't a lot of people online. It's about 5 years ago. I said it was a long time, and she was laughing at me. Yeah, so we decided to use SMS because it was cheaper and it was more accessible. And this was this great idea we were going with. Talked to a lot of people. Oh, that is great. You should do it. You should do it. So we did it. Now we did it. Who is buying it? Nobody. No one is buying it. So that was lesson number one. When people say they want something, try to ask them how they will use it. So the problem we had with we called it by customer support was one, the companies were not ready to put people behind it to be answering to the complaints. Okay, that is point number one. It's a great idea. Oh, we receive it, but who in the company is doing it? No one. So then we are not going to buy it in the first place. And then point two. The only way at that time we could do that was to do a short code, and it was kind of expensive to the end user because the cheapest short code we got at that time, now they have to be short code, but the cheapest short code we got at that time was 10 pesos. So sending 10 pesos back and forth was really very expensive for the end user. Then they are also put off by it. So then it didn't work. We got a few companies to buy into it, but of course they weren't using it because either they don't have the personnel or the customers are not sending it. But if you pitch the idea, I'm sure when I said it in the play, everybody was like, wow, what a great idea. Yeah, it didn't work. So we decided to work with Infoline, which she came to help me with. So that was our second product that we decided to build. And that was more of marketing. So we thought that instead of making it dependent on a human being, why not make it automatic? So kind of you already put the answer there and people text and they get the answer to the question instead of you having to put someone there. And this time the person has to text just once to be able to get the message. So that made more sense. And then it also had a more messaging part to it. So that made more sense. So actually that is what we were able to run with as a company, and we still have that product in the market called Infoline. Yeah. And then as time is going on, we realized that now, at that time there weren't a lot of smartphones. I think Android had just been in Ghana, and only a few people had some Android phones. But now almost everybody, I'm sure almost everybody here has a smartphone, or everybody here has a smartphone, let me put it that way. So now we realize that people are moving more towards mobile applications, and SMS is kind of slowing down, slowly getting out. Yeah. So now our focus is in what is the best mobile application that fits our business vision. And our vision, as Ethel said, is connecting businesses to their customers. That is our core vision. Yeah, so that's what we do. So we decided to build this mobile app. We realized that business information in Ghana is very scattered. It's either found on somebody else's website, or even if it's at a central base, it is not updated. Okay, even on company websites, it's even not updated. Yeah, so we decided that we are going to build a mobile directory that will solve this problem of making it a centralized business information and also keep it more updated. So it's an app that we'll come up with by next month. Hopefully that would also fly like equalize it, it would be like quite like yeah. So yeah, that's basically my story. So a few points to take out. As tech people,
like tweeting, you want to make a statement, me too, I can do so. Please, if you can do it and no one will use it, there's no use for it. Make sure people will use what you are creating. It's not about who is the best hacker in the world. If your hacking doesn't do it, no one cares actually. It's about what are you hacking to achieve? What are you creating? Are people going to use what you are creating? Yeah, you are a good programmer, but let's make something that is useful for us. Okay, so make sure in Ghana here we have this idea that people will steal our ideas. Please share. If you don't share, how would you know if people will even use it in the first place? Okay, maybe if you have an idea that you think MTN might copy, don't go and tell MTN because it's not MTN people that will use it, it's the MTN users that will use it. So at least get some users to talk to them, bounce it off them, and then hear their reviews about it before you even go too far with the idea. Or you finish building it and then no one is using it. Okay. So that is one point. Make sure your idea is something that people would use. And build something that people would use. Okay. And then when you finish, the next point is you have to sell it, whether you like it or not. And if you are selling an idea, nobody cares about NFC, GPS. Some people don't really understand it. What will it do for me? Simple terms. So it has GPS and NFC and so on. Okay, what will it do for me? Okay, it will help you know exactly where you are standing. That is more understandable than listing all the features and the terms when you are selling to someone. Just make it like the person is coming, is a class one student, okay, doesn't know all the acronyms, and try to tell them what it will do for them rather than the features that you have, because no one really cares. Okay. I think those are the 2 points I've taken so far from my business journey. Yeah. So I think I'll end here. Thank you.
Right. Right. Thank you very much for the presentation. How's everyone feeling? Do we have things that are on our mind, things that we need to clear up, that we want to ask our presenters?
How, with the furniture business, how is technology taking?
Using the internet is one of our created a website. So if you're looking for furniture, for decor, search Tekura comes on the list. So it helps us connect with our clients or potential clients across the globe. It doesn't mean just Ghana. Social media. Social media helps us talk about what we're doing, show our products, even selling, like you're talking about. I said sometimes I sell on WhatsApp or Viber or Facebook. You share pictures of new products and people see, oh, I like it, and please send your link. How can I get this? And then you sort that out with them. Something I started recently was I got an app called Bamboo. It helps me sketch, so I don't always have to have my sketchbook and a pencil. If I have my tablet, I just open Bamboo and draw. So it makes the work also efficient.
In terms of sales, in terms of reaching out to end user eventually, like you're talking about social media, do you think that your company would have been able to get to the point where it's gotten to without all of that?
I don't think so. I think technology has come to save us all. You can communicate with somebody in Kuwait because of WhatsApp or Viber, and it's sort of put us on a fast track. So instead of the client driving all the way to Oslo to come and find what I have, they just go on the internet and they find me. The presence we have on the internet has sort of pushed us closer to our clients, and it reflects in our sales, so it's plus.
Thank you. So I have 2 questions from people who are listening, like from outside. So one, what does Tekura mean? So that's to you.
Okay. I mentioned earlier that my mother started this business actually. In Ghana, we have these names. I'm called Ama, and there's something that comes out of it. So Ama, Tekura, or something else. Atopam, another sort of thing. My mother's called Ava Kranchua, and then my dad is called Kweku Techi. So Techi and Kranchua, they played with it, and then they came up with Tekura.
Okay, thanks. That's very interesting. So that's a brand that you're using in selling. So the second one is for both of you. What were the worst things you had to deal with, like when you were starting out? That's from Ethel. Did you hear me at the back? Sorry. So I just had a question for our presenters. What was the worst thing that they had to deal with when they were starting out? Yeah. Come in, so you can hear. I have 3 seats. Please.
There were a lot actually, a lot of things are running in my head, but one that stands out was the fact that I was a woman making furniture. We're still warming up to the idea of going and taking certain positions in our society, and so if I go to the workshop and I'm working with the guys, not everybody there was comfortable. Some were very hostile, and it wasn't helpful for business because I've taken a lot, I have to get it done. It was a challenge, but I'm working on it. It's still not 100% perfect, but
it's still
there's a little bit. If I step out, if I go outside my workshop, if I use the workshops around,
yeah,
I sometimes come across that. But I've created a way of handling that just so I can push my business. So that's what I'm still doing.
That was interesting. So just, is there a follow-up? Or okay, then I will take it.
Now, I want to know whether you have women as artisans. And if you do, since you from your speech, you said you learn from the artisans, right? Do you also teach them some technology skills that they will also adapt and they will be part of us?
Okay, thank you for your question. Yes, I do.
Pardon? These are 2 part questions.
So yes to the both of the questions. How do I put this? Right now, something I do with my artisans, we use WhatsApp to communicate, and this is something I've been pushing for a while. But not all of them had the smartphones. So a couple of them got it because there's WhatsApp and Viber and Facebook. So a couple of them got that. So I don't always have to sit together with them to break down a job. I can send them the image. I say, take your time and go through this. I'll see you later in the day, and then we discuss. We create a plan for it. So yes. And the second question was? We do have women artisans. The process of making the furniture, I'll just summarize that. We cut the wood. It goes through either carpentry directly or wood turning or carving. And then it goes through drying, sanding, and then finishing. Now, a lot of the machine work, cutting a wood to the carpentry, is handled by men. But with sanding it to get it smooth and then painting it to give it that color or that finish, most of them are women. So we have an internship program. We've got master artisans, and 2 of them are women actually. So when we are training new people, we take more for the handwork, the painting and the sanding. We encourage a lot more women to do that. And we've actually had one who requested to learn how to carve, but I'm still waiting for her to come back. She said she's going to her hometown, she'll be back. So I'm waiting for her.
I have a question.
answered my question. Yeah. Okay, so it's between two things. I don't know which one to focus. So the beginning days, my worst time was, I won't mention the company name, wanted to do a pilot with us. They had this very cold server room. I had to spend 1 week there, going there every day. And at the end of the day, we didn't do the pilot. Because they changed management. Yes, so all my time, I said, how cold, it's not this cold. Those of you who understand, you will understand. I was like, seriously. So why did you let, and it was Christmas time. It was Christmas time. And then the other one is more about my personality. So I started a company with two guys. Now when you walk into the room, you are not seen as the CEO or the tech person. Like both of them are far away. And with my also being the quiet type and the smallish type, it really makes my matter worse. Okay? So every time you kind of have to, I'm also not an extrovert, but I've had to learn how to push myself to kind of make myself more visible than I would normally do. Don't be me and not talk like that. I'm just so here sitting at the back there. But it's kind of, I don't know whether it's our culture or it's the business thing, but you kind of have to learn how to put yourself out there, or people just don't see you or they don't take you serious. So I don't know, between the two of them, which one is the worst?
Okay. So.
Just a quick one. What do you think is the lifeline of SMS? Because we still have companies who are working very actively in SMS space. But like you were saying earlier, we can see it. Apps are the thing right now. What do you think is the lifeline of SMS? And when is it going to die?
It won't die, but it will be very minimal. I think give it maybe another 3 to 5 years, I think. Or maybe about 5 years. The reason why I'm saying that is, you see, we are yet to find or get an app that can communicate with another device without having the same app on it in terms of communication. So if I have WhatsApp, you also have to have WhatsApp before we can communicate. Okay. So we still have the use for SMS if you just want to do one thing and everybody gets it. Okay. Rather than having or unless one particular app becomes very popular, maybe WhatsApp is getting there, I don't know. Becoming so popular that everybody has it and you can just send that one message, and because everybody has WhatsApp, everybody will get it. Yeah. So I think that's the only limitation that the app has. So if you really want to send without thinking about whether the person will get it or not, it is still SMS. Yeah, but I think as time goes on, the apps will catch up with that kind of limitation, and then I'm sure SMS will be. It will still, it won't be obsolete.
So I think it will evolve into something else.
It's evolving. There's flash SMS now. A lot of telcos use flash SMS instead of sending you the SMS. So it might evolve into other things, but still the apps might overtake. That's correct.
Okay. So you and then the question at the back, so start here.
I wanted to know how is NandiMobile still just the three of you, or do you have additional employees? How large are you now? And also, do you are you actively developing, or is your time being taken by more management as the CEO?
So NandiMobile has evolved a lot. Okay. So we started with co-founders, did some contractors, did interns and all of that. But actually the founders, I'm the only founder left. And then the people who are with me are people who joined us earlier on. Okay, so we have kind of evolved the stages. And now I think I do more management than coding, which I don't like, but I don't have a choice right now. So now it's more of managing the business than coding.
You said the founders left. Do they still have shares in the company?
Now you want us to talk shares? She wants us to talk shares. I don't want to bore you, but there's something called vesting, okay? So everybody has shares in the company. They are founders of the company. Okay? So they still have shares in the company, but depending on how long you stay in the company, depends on how much shares you get.
Questions?
Yeah, sorry I came in late. I just saw the end of this. Now, my first question is, what next after the now? Are you with me?
Yes, we are.
I'm saying I saw the slide. Now, the next, my question is, what next? And then it appears to rely so much on social media. But again, not everybody has access to that. What can you do to promote your products? You're talking of patronizing the new products, or you rely only on social media.
Okay. So this is just to me. The now is
What next?
for both of us. Okay, so you get it. So the next step for me now is to go beyond Accra, go beyond. I'm already exporting, but I'm looking to create a partnership with another party where I can have a strong representation in Europe, America, and Africa. So I want to focus on continents and not just certain regions. That's the next chapter for me. Your other question was other ways that I market my business. Because we're talking about technology, I brought that up, but we attend exhibitions. Exhibitions has been the main tool that we use to promote our work. We attend exhibitions locally and outside Ghana as well. Yeah, that's it.
Exhibitions and technology, social media. Okay. I thought I answered my what's next. Just a second. I answered my what's next. So what next is the addition of our application. I hope that is clear. I said we are moving from SMS into mobile applications. Yeah, that's where we're going.
How has that transition been like? Moving from what you started with to mobile?
Was it a transition? Okay, I think the transition will be more of in the business sense rather than in the technology sense. Because before we built our products, I was already doing mobile applications. But right now it's in how we are marketing the app. So our web app was B2B, as in business to business. So you just have to walk to the business or have a contact in the business and then sell to them. Okay. But with the mobile application we are building right now, we will have to appeal to the mass audience. So in that case, our strategy of marketing would change. Yeah, so we have to find other ways of. Maybe that would be quite a learning curve for us. Let's get to them.
Yes, which one? and yes.
Not yet, because we are targeting businesses, not individuals. WhatsApp is more from individuals to individuals, but if for we're targeting people who were kind of targeting the mass market, like which company would I use? Okay, let me use the one we want. A church, for example, they want to reach their congregation. Okay, they would not send a WhatsApp to the whole congregation. They would rather use SMS. So because we are targeting businesses, we haven't seen much of that switch yet. Maybe for smaller companies, they will now use WhatsApp because the people they are targeting are maybe smaller. So they will use WhatsApp today, but for the big businesses, SMS is the way.
So I had a question for both of you. I think sorry. That so one thing I find, or that comes to mind is when you're a business, especially in tech business in Ghana, you're trying to create the kind of resistance that you get. You did speak about it, so you have a brother nobody is speaking. But sometimes I think, how do you educate your customers or people that your potential clients that this is something that you need to get, and then you move to sell? But I think you have that. That barrier. I mean, we don't need this because we have this one technology which is inefficient. You like that, yes. So, maybe something you can address.
Okay, so that barrier has been there and is actually still there. Some companies are still very difficult to sell to. So what works is giving them a trial and then giving them training. Actually, there are some companies we've trained more than 10 times and we still train them. Yeah. You have to do it. Whether if you want them to use your software, you just have to do it. So when you are giving a trial, make sure you have someone who is your friend in the company and is using the software. Or you come back after, I don't know how long you want to give them the trial and you haven't touched it. You haven't done anything about it, and then you have to start all over again. So you have to get this one person in the company who is responsible. At least, so when you go and say you want to give them a trial, let them give you the person who will be using it during the trial period. And always make sure the person that's using, call the person. Okay, and then understand the business. For us, for example, when it's getting to holidays, we call some of our clients, or Mother's Day. Oh, Mother's Day is about coming. Don't you think you want to send messages to your clients or to your whatever about Mother's Day? And maybe to click them. So know the business and know how they're supposed to use your software and then suggest it to them. Get someone that you can call every time and make sure they are using it. And if they see the value in it, then they are going to. It's a long process, but that's how business works.
And this one what is the name NandiMobile? The name of the company is which is very good. So, and do you have any projects in mind for young girls out there so that to build their interest in products?
Okay. NandiMobile, we got it a combination. So the mobile is an English word. Yes. And then there's Nandi. So one of the co-founders actually grew up in Zambia, and we wanted a word that means connection. And he said Nandi means friend in Wemba language, it's a Zambian language. So he decided to take the out. It wasn't sexy enough. And we took just the Nandi. And then because we are doing mobile stuff, we just got to it. So that's how we got the name Nandi. And the second question, what am I doing for other young girls? I'm not officially doing much. I more do one-on-one mentoring. Yeah, so let's identify people and encourage them and give them opportunity to do so. But if I get the chance to join the official ones, if I do join them, that's what I do.
So you're running a business?
Yes.
And not the how do you manage as a CEO to run your business? Because aside you being a tech person, you need to know a little bit about marketing, accounting, HR. So how do you handle that as a tech person and as an individual?
Yes. Actually, you just have to learn it. Yeah, so she mentioned part of that. Some of it you make a mistake, it hits you hard, and you go and learn it, or you learn it through the experience. But as the challenges come up, you just pick it up and learn it. So I've actually had to learn accounting actually, and do the accounting sometimes. At least the unofficial one that you can use to see what is happening. Yeah, I can do that. And then for the other ones, I guess you can learn from other people. Get someone as a mentor and then bounce ideas off the person. And me, I'm a tech person, so Google is my friend. I Google everything, yeah, and try to get ideas from other places as to how things are done. Yeah, so I've had to learn a lot of things on the job actually. And the other problem with Googling is, especially if you have a product for Ghana, some of what they suggest actually doesn't work in Ghana. Yeah, so you still have to make mistakes and learn from your competitors, for example. How are your competitors doing it? And try to learn from that. Audrey.
Obviously, you're looking at scaling up, and a lot of the material that you put out is handcrafted. Is there any way that you're going to mechanize, the work that you do, or is it still going to be handcrafted? And I'm thinking about in terms of you going outside the shores of this country, the orders coming in as large as they will be. Are you still going to stick to a handcrafted thing, or are you going to be?
We're currently doing a bit of both. Handicraft can be purely handmade, or a bit of machines and a bit of hand. We're doing a bit of both. And we're selling not just products, but a story from Africa. Each piece carries the spirit of Africa, what's in the land of Africa. So we will maintain certain aspects of the handmadeness, or if I should say the handmadeness of the product. And upscaling, we have a plan to work with, I mentioned, a partner on the other end. So let me just break it down. If we can have a huge warehouse and stock it, then they retail. So it's not going to be like as it is now. It's determined by which pieces of tables that the buyer selects. So we have our product lines, and when we test the market, we usually test the market. So if you know five of them work, we're going to focus on those ones.
I also have a question, because you mentioned machine. So I don't really know of machines in your industry right now. I'm just thinking about capital. So how is that looking like in Ghana, and where are machines coming from? I guess in the manufacturing today. Are you designing and getting them made? Or is this something we export?
We brought in some machines from Germany, like the bandsaw machine, which cuts the logs into the blocks. Yeah, so that we brought some machines in, and with the carvers and the wood turner, they make their own machines from metal, local metal and then wood. But part of our project is to bring in a wood miser. The wood miser is like better technology for a bandsaw. With a bandsaw, it's tedious. For instance, the artisan has to carry the log and put it on the machine and push it. It's a thin blade through the machine, so he has to push it through the machine and the blade, and it's a lot of manual work. So with the wood miser, it's on wheels. The cutter is on wheels. I actually witnessed this. It's exciting. So he pushes it, and because of the wheels and it's just the blades, it's not as heavy as carrying the log onto the machine. All they have to do is actually roll the log over to a specific location and then cut it. And the wood miser will cut both sides. So you push it and then you cut the other sides, and then you have a sweat, you have a block. Yeah.
Any more questions?
Yeah, it's about how is so affecting?
It's a challenge, especially if a lot lot of the processes requires energy. The machines that they use, and even sometimes if we have to work overnight, those paints actually need light to see. So it's affected our production. The cost goes up, and then it affects demand as well, because it gets too expensive and people wouldn't want to buy. And then our timelines are shaky. You tell your client, oh, I'm going to use 6 weeks, and you end up using 10 weeks. So you have to keep either hiding from your phone or telling your assistant, tell her I'm busy, I'm working, you know, that sort of thing.
So you have your hand up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, long time ago.
Yes, sorry about that.
I think we remember this. I think for us, it's mostly, it has affected us, of course, cost to go up. But yeah, things sounds like someone who's taking the money, so that's his problem. But the other part is your clients still don't use your software as they would normally do. So they have excuses like, oh, or Vodafone got down, my internet is not working, so we didn't send the message because of that and that. So sometimes we have had to send the messages for them, even though that's not what we do, because they are having technological challenges.
Mine, it's not really a question, it's suggestions. Okay, I'd like to start with one of the big challenges we get with expansions. It's exciting and it's really, really nice, but then reach your particular brand, one of the challenges you get is your brand itself, using your brand. You have a brand already, it is made by hand. In as much as you want to expand, you want to make more of it, you want to automate the process. Technology
certain aversion or certain reaction to you being a woman among men or male carpenters or male artisans. And we didn't mention anything about that, but the tech world is believed to be dominated or used to be dominated by men. I'd like your experience on that, and for the both of you, I'd like to hear how you dealt with it, because I have to bring in the gender card here. Yeah, for some people,
So it's the women
exactly.
This is why we create those barriers.
So, every woman goes through this at one point in her career, at one point in her life. But for these industries that you find yourselves in that are perceived as, the men's world, how did you get over all of that?
I think I put a bit about it, about going into a meeting, no one wants to see you as the CEO in the first place or the tech person
Because you were a woman.
Or this expensive. I was actually in a meeting. I think that time we were going on a sales call, and I just wanted to go with our salespeople. And we were in this meeting, and they were trying to explain some technical challenges they were having with it. And the guy was bold enough to say, okay, I know you are the salesperson, so let me talk to the guys. Let me talk to the guys. And I know it was a sales call, so I didn't really like. So he talked, and the guys were like this. He told me this about it. Tell her about it. Again, the guy was like, are you sure? Okay. So you just have to get used to it. That you are not going to be seen as the person. Maybe you might have to do something to be seen. Sometimes you don't have to do something. When they go around that, they'll come back to you. Yeah, because I'm the one going to deal with the problem in the first place. So if you go around, I don't feel offended, because maybe because I have gotten used to it, or I don't care, and it doesn't decrease my work or decrease what I do if you don't think I'm the tech person. But at the end of the day, if you need the tech, you have to talk to me. So you can talk all you want with the guys, and at the end you come back to me.
Can I do a follow-up on that? So, the instance that you just cited, usually you are in the position where they need your help.
Yes.
Can you have the inverse when you need them to work for you? They don't say,
You are selling to them.
for example, yes, so how do you get them, or how do you communicate, with them to get the job done when it's in your interest to get them to work with you?
Okay, if you are selling with someone, okay, as in getting
People who work for you, like maybe
people who work other developers, that hasn't been a problem. Actually, I haven't experienced it in that sense yet. I haven't experienced it in that sense yet. But I guess as women, we have learned that we always have to do more to prove ourselves. Seriously. So yeah. If you are in the same place with a guy and you are at the same level, they might not see you. You always have to. Yes.
Okay, so you
Yeah. I have two.
sorry, she didn't.
Oh, she has, okay. So you actually answered the question, or is it something directly related to what she just said? She's giving you some looks. Please go ahead, quickly.
Don't you know how she balances? It's like,
Seriously.
Okay, so can I use that
This is how I handle that. When I was outside the system.
We'll have the space for a couple more minutes. So please say hi to people.
I keep because of it.
I just want to change something. I just want to change
Oh, she is.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Can I get your attention, please? Hello. Please, compete. Waiting for GIJ wants actually give a brief introduction to the rest.